so you have hope for those women who have been through all that.
No, they have hope for themselves. I don't have hope. They have hope for themselves, and because they have hope for themselves,
the spirit
they
fingers
mature,
going. Listen,
they
I think
evolve, and they feminize.
We're nitpicking now because they're not talking on here. I'm just saying you have faith that they can find love.
No, I don't.
Because you've seen it happen before. That's what you just said.
No. I've seen it, but I'm not the one that's hoping. They have hope for themselves.
I'm not going to argue semantics with you, but I think it's obvious to everyone who's watching that you are confident that those women can find love, and the gentleman.
No, I'm confident that they can heal. That's my job. My job is not to help them find men.
I'm not going to go down that path. Anyways,
and men will still take him even if they have the high body count. Okay.
We're getting circular here, but what I was going to say is to back what Claudia was saying with some science. I mentioned bring up the oxytocin because I'm sure you've heard of it earlier. But what I'd read was women get surges of oxytocin, aka the love chemical, when they go through childbirth, and that helps create the unique maternal bond that they have with both obviously male female offspring, and also during sex. And that as they have higher amounts of sex, especially sex with more partners, the intensity of that surge, just like any other brain chemical that you whether it's induced by drug or naturally, it gets less intense as you have more partners. So how that translates into the real world, and I want you guys in the chat to like think about if this is true based on your experience. And my friend was like, David, how come you have your reservation about dating girls who had like such a high body count seriously and considering them for marriage? And if I had to distill it down into one sentence, it would be, as women go through trauma or just experience more sexual partners, love goes from being more of an infatuation, a chemically driven infatuation, to a conscious choice. So when you're that 38-year-old woman who's been through X, Y, and Z, maybe you've had kids, maybe you haven't, but you've had dozens of partners. With dozens of partners comes trauma. Like you can't go through a dozen like perfect relationship partners. If the relationship ended, usually there was at the very least an argument or some incompatibilities there. So if you're a 38-year-old woman with all this that she's been through, and all these different sexual partners, you're not going to have that infatuation that you see with like the young women. Like say you see a lot of women falling in love with the wrong men, their first love in their life. So like I've seen women, it's been terrible. An extreme example would be like a woman is so in love with the man that she refuses to believe that he cheated on her, even when she finds out that resulted in a baby. Like women can fall hard. And when that intense chemical love is directed at a good man that intends to marry her, father her children, and be faithful, that's when you get the best, longest relationships, right? But over time, as a woman goes through trauma, from what I've seen, they lose the ability to have that intense chemical love, and it becomes more of a conscious choice. And they have more of an ability to take a step back and think of things logically, like, okay, now I'm consciously thinking about his job, his height's great, but it's not like, no, it's not his kid. I know it's not. He told me it's not. I'm in love with him. Like that it can be blind, but it's intense. And it happens often when women are young and you know what I'm talking about, but I call it more of an infatuation. Before I move on to the body count, you wanted to respond.
Yeah, just one quick question. Can you heal from trauma?
There's debate. There's data that says as a woman's amount of partners goes up, her ability to.
No, that's not what I asked you. I asked you, can you heal from trauma?
By saying, is it possible? She's trying to direct your attention from the rule and the trends that govern societies to the exceptions to the rule. This woman.
I didn't ask you that. Can you heal from trauma?
I just wanted to. But the most dangerous thing that a guy can do is use that woman. Look at her. She's in a marriage for 30 years. She healed after trauma, and then they throw away the statistics about trends and
but that's not my question.
So is it possible for a woman to completely
can people heal from trauma?
Devil, can I just say one thing? It's really quick. You can heal. You know what a scar is? The scar is there. You are healed, but the scar is there. The scar is not going anywhere. That's the problem. Women heal, but the scar is there. The battle after battle after battle after battle after battle long term, you'll get a lot of cars. That's the
But
problem.
you can heal from trauma, right? That's my only question.
You're forever
Because I
changed
feel-
though.
No,
You're
but
forever
I'm dealing-
changed.
I only ask this because I deal with all kinds of mental trauma and all types of emotional trauma from both couples and all different types. So my question is, can you heal from trauma? Because again, we're human. A lot of us has healed from the trauma of COVID. COVID was trauma for us, okay? And we healed, right? And we moved on. And we're trying to continue to evolve. So can you heal from trauma? When you say that just because she healed their scars, I just had a car accident the other day. I'm still healing. Okay, that was trauma. Does that mean that I'm no longer gonna get into a car? Absolutely not. I'm gonna get back in a car.
So if we
What
could
about
go,
a car? What about the car?
The car is not the trauma.
No, but would you buy a car if the guy in the shop said, oh, it's brand new, we repaired it 7 times because it had 7 accidents, but it's brand new. You can see that. You see, you will look at the car and say,
the car is healed.
It looks new, but the pieces of the car, it had 7
Oh,
accidents
honey,
before.
I've seen people buy cars that are all jacked up and go
Yeah,
up in there, change the
but-
water pump and put in some new tires.
yeah,
And now
but
they
that's the
drive.
problem.
That type of analogy.
We are talking about
can't use
desperate
that
people.
kind of
We are not
analogy.
talking about.
Oh no, that's not desperate people. I've seen some people literally buy some cars that
So if
they
you-
is within
Yeah.
their means,
So-
change the tires, put in a new water
Yeah,
pump,
but-
and now they're using that car because it's a reliable
And-
thing,
and
and that
if-
car takes them from
Hey,
point A
point
to
of
point
the
B, and
mission-
that's all they
if they
care.
can,
Yeah.
they
That's-
can
yeah,
buy
that's
a
the
brand
let's
new,
not
are they
go
going
too
to
much
buy a
on
new?
cars.